so just wanted to know if I start with direct the points which I have, or shall I introduce myself?
Just start the discussion. You don't need to introduce.
I would like to say that reservation of EWS is regressive because it dilutes the original purpose of what the reservation actually was. Reservation was meant to address historical and social discrimination, not just economic hardships, which is subjective from individual to individual. EWS also shifts the focus away from the caste based injustice faced years ago. It then, having EWS reservation, ignores structural caste disadvantage because poverty is temporary and is a generation and it could be worked on, but caste based discrimination is something which is exclusive and it will go on for generations. Then it weakens the authority of the actual caste for which the reservation was introduced. um so it basically limits the pool of opportunities for the people who actually need it, which were primarily SC, ST, and OBCs. The main aim of the constitution was to have constitution was meant to be a tool of social justice, not a poverty enhancement scheme. So it violates the actual spirit of the constitution. And I'd like to end my thoughts with the fact that economic discrimination or economic crises are temporary and can be fixed if one works hard towards it. So this can be easily worked upon, not something which can be treated or fixed over the years.
I agree with her. I think this reservation for the EWS category is regressive because being this EWS reservation introduced, many people who are not below poverty line and who are not facing poverty will try to make fake certificates and um, you know show the government that they belong to weaker economic sections to benefit from this reservation policy. So I agree with her.
I too agree with them. Um, yeah, I too agree because more than the good, like actually people belonging to the weaker sections getting privileges for their for EWS, there are more people making fake certificates, just like SC, ST, and OBC can be made fake certificates. So I think this is regressive as well.
But we also have to look at it from a point as in as from a country perspective that in India we have a very high poverty rate. So from that perspective, if we see these reservations are needed to support the economically poor individuals. Yes, there are the ideas of fake certificates, but then there are people who actually want to get access to education and build a new lifestyle. So for them, it is important for this policy to exist so that we can ensure their development and across all the communities.
Thought about what Ashmita said, and she's not wrong. I'm confused because it can be both progressive and regressive, being what others said about it being regressive, but what Ashmita said is also true, that many people in India are suffering from poverty, so they do not get basic facilities such as education, and with reservation also they can get these facilities. So it can be both progressive or regressive. Every coin has two sides, right?
I would like to counter by saying that yes, every coin has two sides, and yes, there are some people who genuinely need it and reservation will help them. But the idea is that not And the question is getting asked, will support the people with social and
Samiksha, your
generation
sound is
of
not clear.
personal poverty. Poverty could be fixed by one generation as well.
Gurkiran, we are discussing EWS reservation for the economically weaker sections from the upper caste, whether it is regressive or progressive. Yes, Sarang, your view.
So can you repeat what you're doing? I was disconnected.
We are discussing that EWS reservation for the economically weaker sections in the higher caste, whether it is progressive or regressive. Yes, Gurkiran, Sarang,
Yes, sir. I joined a bit late. Can you? I don't. What are you asking?
the topic is reservation for the economically weaker section, whether it is progressive or regressive.
Oh, okay. I'll join. I'll wait. I'll join in a minute with that one.
Yes, Sarang, you have anything to add?
If you give me a minute, I'm just jotting down my points.
Continue, please. We cannot wait till eternity.
I would like to add that although according to the others, a coin does have two sides, a good as well as a bad side. But since due to India's administration gaps, like we have rules, but the rules are not that strict enough. People do take a lot of advantage of these rules. So more than the good, the uh, richer people take advantage and make fake certificates. So if we had to choose a side, it would be regressive, but of course, it has both sides, progressive as well as regressive.
May I speak, sir?
Yeah, you don't have to ask permission in a GD.
Uh, Okay, so what I think is reservations are progressive because it ensures equality of opportunity for everyone. So before the reservations, there was no safety net for the poor in the general category. They had to compete with the wealthiest, the most resourceful students in the open category. So this reservations creates a protected space for them to compete with the people who have like similar financial backgrounds, and then it also progresses towards class-based society rather than caste-based society. This and then it introduces the social economic status and like it divides the social. No, wait. The government is moving the conversation towards social economic status rather than the caste-based system.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that to an extent, and I feel making an equal opportunity for everyone is the utmost important thing here. And with the advancement of globalization and technology, I feel the gap has not obviously not erased completely, but reduced a bit compared to the olden times. Because earlier, if somebody wanted to learn anything, the only ways were either expensive classes or coaching. But nowadays, there's so much content available on internet, provided they have internet again. But there's so much content available that the gap has decreased to an extent. And I believe any nation should act towards lessening the gap instead of increasing the not caste based, increasing the economic based reservation system, as that is the real sign of growth of a country.
I think as far as the concern for misuse goes here, I think the problem is with the administration and not the policy itself. So we cannot just say that the policy is regressive in itself. All we can, from my point of view, all we can say is that the administration needs to implement more strong verification mechanism so that everyone is treated equally and even the general section doesn't feel that they are wrong.
Yeah, the administration and management part of it needs to be supervised and audited completely, so that there's transparency between that and no hidden agendas or bias. But even from a student's perspective, on the other side, it's a bit disheartening also that we should acknowledge that even they did work hard. They got the same they got the same marks in an examination, let's say. And I would not say that it's completely unfair. It's a wrong thing or an unfair thing, but to some extent it's very disheartening for the other candidate as well. So something in the interest which both parties could be satisfied should be looked upon.
Okay, Shreya, please summarize.
Yes, so we had the discussion about that EWS, whether the policy of EWS is progressive or regressive. So we started with the concept that it is regressive since it can be misused, and since uh, the Indian administration is not that strict with laws, people do take advantage of it. But we also move forward that it is also progressive as it helps the it also helps the weaker section of the society that actually needs that help, and the poor class that require the additional benefit to get equal opportunity. So overall, I say that we came to the conclusion that instead of the policy, the administration should be more strict, or a better policy would come forward to give equal opportunity to both the weaker as well as the other section of the society.
Samiksha, please summarize.
Yes, sir. So we discussed about how the EWS reservation by Supreme Court is either regressive or progressive. So the majority said that while it's regressive, but there are people who are looking for more opportunities, people who genuinely need it. But in the hindsight, there is a different perspective to it, that yes, it can be fixed. It's not something that is carried down over generations. People can fix it, and it's not something that will go on with them for the rest of their life. So while there are some people who need the resources, but in today's day and age where all the resources are available out there, I think it's still a regressive way to be there.
Raya, please summarize.
So mostly our discussion today, majority of the people uh, sided with regressive, but regressive saying the misuse of the policy. And also we had the perspective of how both need to be managed in order for the even the poorer and the general section uh, to benefit both of their interests. So I think except like scraping the policy, the main conclusion of the GD was that except scraping the policy, the administration needs to improve their methods.
Okay. So you have seen that film, na? Super 30. Have you seen?
Yes, sir.
So in that film, it's about IIT, getting into IIT, and uh, someone is a rickshaw puller, someone is a daily wager himself. Do you expect these people to have the resources that you're talking of? For example, a mobile phone with uninterrupted uh, internet connection where they can easily, and do they have the time to devote to studies as a privileged person who has nothing else to do but study and who gets all the facilities in an air conditioned room, is able to study, and he has got every facility required to crack the exam? Do you think it is right to compare somebody who is from an economically weaker section, not even having basic paper and pen to write books, textbooks, etc.? So that is something which I think came across in the GD as if you are detached from the real world. The other thing is that if we are saying that EWS is regressive, then the whole reservation system is regressive. If you are saying implementation is not proper, that is why it is regressive, then the whole reservation system is regressive. Then why EWS only? But when you are talking of a policy, then you have to talk about the pros and cons of the policy. The other thing is that in a GD you do not start by taking sides. Okay, you will first say these are the pros of EWS, these are the cons of EWS, and overall view is that yes, it should be implemented, or it is good, or it is regressive, or it is not regressive. I once interviewed a student from IIT Guwahati. He belonged to the scheduled caste, and his father was an IPS officer. So generally, while interviewing, I came to know that he is from the scheduled caste, and he said that he has not applied under the reserved category. So I said, why are you not taking that advantage which you have? He said, since my father is an IPS officer and I've got all the facilities to study and I went to IIT with reservation, I don't want to get into the IIM with reservation. I want to do it on my own merit. I said, well, why did you get into IIT through reservation? So he said that that time I was not in a decision making situation. My parents decided that I will avail the benefit of reservation and I got into IIT. But now I want to do it on my own merit. So, if you're talking, then Samiksha, you're talking of generational wealth within a generation, poverty can be overturned. How do you say that?
Sir, I say that on the grounds of yes, it can be overturned because if you put in that effort when you know that you don't have the privilege, but you know that you can, if you put that one extra hour of work every day, or that one extra effort can, if it can change your future, one should work toward it and not just sit back with the hope of that yes, there is a certain reservation for me, and get the privilege of it. If you know you have the potential, one should work towards it and change things for themselves, not be dependent on the government for policies and schemes.
So, are you trying to tell me that from whatever your family status right now, or anybody's family status right now, they can easily become, or with some hard work after 30 years, they can become billionaires, or those that 30 years end, anybody can?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get your question.
My question is that you are saying that if somebody is poor, then by hard work they can overturn that poverty. So I am
Of
saying that.
course,
So
not just hard work, but like working in the right direction, y- channelizing your hard work in a way where it can give you the result, can change things for you.
so my question is that suppose you are from upper middle class family. So over the next 25, 30 years, you can become a, let's say not Ambani or Adani, but let's say uh, 1000 crore net worth person.
Sir, ultimately it's not about the net worth or the zeros you have in your bank balance. It is about how you change things for yourself. If there is a time when you are struggling for a roof over your head or three proper meals, and if with the effort that you put in, and if you can get what basic necessities are, you can fulfill your first hierarchy of wants. I think that is a good way to go about it from the place you have come. And of course, there is no end to your ambition, your dreams, until where you want to work hard and get that bank balance.
What would be the salary of a person, a house help, today in any middle class or upper middle class family?
In today's day and age, if we talk about individual, upper middle class would have like a 50 to 60,000 salary per month.
No, I'm talking of the house help in a middle class family.
House help like per house? Oh, I have no idea about that, but if
No, no.
we talk about,
A person working in your house today who is doing your washing, doing your cleaning, doing your dishes, how much does she earn? Does he or she earn in a month?
4,000 to 5,000.
So they are working hard, they are working 10, 12 hours a day, and within the next 30 years, you think they'll be able to come out of the poverty trap?
Sir, it is of course, sir, they can, like, if they are working for, let's say, 12 hours in today's day and age, where they know that they have the resources, they can probably spend 2 extra hours a day, do some side business, can work on, because they are earning money, they can, if not everything, they can invest a little bit
5,
of portion on their skills. And
5,000,
then,
5,000 a month, even for three
yes sir.
people in a household. Do you think with their kind of setup, it is possible for them to put in those extra hours where they have to stand for water for 1 hour in the morning? They have to travel to your house by cycling for 1 hour, go back home cycling 1 hour. Anyway, I think you need to look into these things. Okay.
Yes sir.
So the discussion was could have been better, I think, because most of you are starting by saying that this is right or this is wrong, which is not what a GD should be ideally, and you should try to bring in more perspectives also. Okay.
Okay sir.